Hey guys, wanted to take some time today, film a new video for you. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy during this difficult time. I want to take some time today and talk about, since the last video I did was my watch collection, which update, I have now sold every single one of my watches aside from my dad's watch. I have only purchased one new piece, GMT Master 2. This is the all black dial. I wanted to talk about how I came to purchase all of my past watches, including this one, because I'm sure many of you can assume from the timing of this video that I didn't go into an authorized dealer, or an AD, as they're referred to in the industry, and pick up a GMT Master 2. I've only ever purchased one watch through an authorized dealer, and I didn't even include the watch in my last video. I felt really stupid when I was doing the edit because I actually purchased a Tag Heuer Formula One Caliber 6 at an authorized dealer in Dominican Republic a few years back. And then when I brought it back home, didn't really get a lot of wear, and I ended up selling it on the gray market, and actually taking a little bit of a bath on it, to be quite honest. It didn't hold value nearly as well as many of my other pieces have over the years. And that's what I want to talk about today, actually, is the gray market, because that's where I've purchased all of my watches over the years. And I've only had good experiences with the gray market to date. Now, obviously, if you're shopping for watches on the gray market, you do run the risk of finding those select few who are trying to play the system and sell fakes. And, by all means, if you're going to shop on the gray market, do your due diligence, buy from reputable people, buy from people who are well reviewed online in the communities. I'm a member of many communities, Chrono24, many watch threads on Reddit. And, when I do a gray market purchase, or any purchase for that matter, whether it's a watch or something else in my life, I always do a lot of research and make sure it's coming from a trusted source. So that's obviously something you have to keep in mind when you're purchasing something like this. The fake watch market is so huge these days. It's terrible, really. And a lot of people are buying and selling and flipping pieces on there. Some of them not even knowing that they have a non-authentic piece. If, again, a word of warning, of course, like with anything in life, be careful, be safe, and do your due diligence. But now, with that out of the way, I want to talk about the benefits of shopping on the gray market and why I've always chose to buy and sell on the watch gray market. Number one reason shop on the gray market is selection. So, for example, as you saw in my last video when we were looking at my watch collection, many of those pieces are very, very hard to come by at authorized dealers or ADs nowadays. For example, stainless steel watches like this GMT Master 2, like my Submariner, like my Datejust, those are very sought after pieces, very hard to come by in an AD. In fact, right now, the stainless steel market for Rolex is actually hotter and more in demand and a higher price point than some of the two-tone gold watches, which is crazy to think, because when I bought my Submariner way back when, stainless steels were going for nothing, right? They were very, very affordably priced. And that's why I got the stainless steel model. I actually, to be quite honest, back then, I did want the gold model, but I really couldn't afford it. There was just no way I could make that fit into my budget at the time. But now those same pieces are significantly less expensive than the stainless steel equivalents. But that being said, on the gray market, yes, you have a very hot watch. You can't get it in an AD, but of course, there's people that have it. There's people that have been able to secure it, whether through the gray market as well or through an AD, and now they're reselling it on the internet, on the gray market, and it's available. So if there's a piece that you can't find in an AD and you really want it, you're going to be able to find it on the gray market on the web. Again, be diligent, make sure it's not a fake, it's not a knockoff, not a Frankenstein, but in my experience, again, there's a lot of reputable sellers out there that have beautiful pieces that are very hard to come by that you're not going to find in your local AD. And that's how I was able to secure a lot of the pieces in my collection, because it just wasn't going to, be acquired at my ADs. I'm not saying I've never been in an AD. I make it a point every time I go to the mall to go shopping for anything else. I always go into an AD and I look at what's on sale. I look at the price points that they're selling for, and I do take mental notes and notes in my phone and stuff like that, and keep an eye on sort of where the market is. As I mentioned in my last video, I believe, I have had my eye on an Omega Speedmaster for quite some time. And I know there's a local AD that's about 15 minutes away from where I'm living right now, and they're selling it at a certain price. And I know that when the time is right and I'm ready to make that purchase, I'm going to sort of do my comparisons and make sure that I'm getting that watch at the best price. And that's actually a good segue into my second reason why I shop on the gray market. So number 2, pricing. So this is probably no surprise to anybody who's ever bought anything on the internet, but pricing is far more competitive and aggressive in some cases online than it is at a traditional brick and mortar or retail store. So here's a great example that might shock some of you. So the Hublot, the Classic Fusion chronograph that I used to have and have now sold, that watch sticker price in a store is somewhere around 16,000 Canadian dollars. And that's a very significant investment. That watch I purchased just last year, and I got that watch on the gray market, authentic, box, everything, and I paid $8,000 for that same watch. And that watch was a 2017 model. It's not out of warranty. It's not beat up. It's never good. It doesn't need service. You know, that watch was an excellent find at an excellent price, and you never get that sort of deal at an authorized dealer. But again, yeah, the prices that you're going to get some of these watches for on the gray market, you are never going to see these prices in a store. When I was going to purchase my first sub, the AD in Toronto that I looked at about a year after I purchased my Submariner through the gray market, they were charging about $9,000 for that watch. And then they did a little bit of a cash discount. I think it was 15 or 20%. But even at that, it didn't work out. You know, it was still quite a gap between what I paid on the gray market compared to what I paid in store. Now, granted, it wasn't identical. The watch I got was a couple of years older, but again, it was box, papers, all original, didn't need service, perfect condition, right? So again, you can find excellent deals on the gray market that you're not going to see anywhere else. And especially if you're a first-time buyer of a luxury watch, you are probably going to want to start with a lower price point to entry, which you can get into in the gray market. And again, you maybe can get into depending on the brand you're buying. You know, Tudor, for example, is a great piece to purchase. If you're not able to afford a Rolex, you can go to Tudor, and you can get very good deals on Tudor watches if you're paying cash at an AD. You know, but again, on the gray market, you can get an even better deal on that exact same piece. Again, it might be a year old or a few months old, but it's still going to be beautiful, and you know, for the most part, box and papers, everything included, and it's going to be a phenomenal watch. Reason number 3, it's easy. There's so many tools online now that it's really simple. You know, again, I mentioned I'm a frequent user of Chrono24. You know, that site just makes it so easy to find exactly what you're looking for. Date of manufacturer, serial, style, variant, all that stuff. You know, again, you can find black dial GMT Master 2s all day long. But then if you want to get into you know, black dial and a Jubilee bracelet, or a Batman, or a Batgirl, whatever you want, right? You can absolutely find it vintage or brand new, or anything in between. And that's really where the flexibility lies. I mean, the AD is going to sell you brand spanking new. And if you are a vintage collector, which there's many of us out there, you're not going to find that going to a retail store. You're only going to find that at a gray market or online, or through, you know, a person who's already owned that watch for several years, or an auction, or that sort of thing. That's not the kind of market that is being catered to at an authorized dealer. You get more selection, which means you get more options, which means you kind of have freedom to purchase and get what you want. So yeah, that's my sort of take on the gray market and why I've always purchased through the gray market. It's kind of cool that in this day and age, you can go online and you can shop for not just you know, the basic things anymore. luxury goods and specialty goods more than ever are going online, are available for purchase online, delivery right to your door. You're secured by a credit card processor or an escrow service or a middle carrier of the funds. So you've got some security in that sense. There's so many technological advancements in the gray market side of things now that personally, I do not hesitate recommending it to anybody. Mind yourself, you should be careful. I mean, I have a jeweler in Toronto that I go to for verification of pieces if in the event I'm purchasing it and there is no box or there's no paperwork, which does happen from time to time. And I've owned pieces over the years that did not have the original box or the original papers. The Tag Heuer Monaco that I have, that did not have its original paperwork. It had its original box, but not its original paperwork. So that piece, I made sure to get authenticated the day I purchased it, so that if it was not legitimate after I received it, I could take it right back and I would be protected. It's a great market to get into. The buying and the selling is a lot of fun, and the collecting side of it is a lot of fun as well. As I think some of you might have picked up from my last video, each watch tells a story, and as you kind of go on your collection journey, the story sort of evolves, or your collection evolves with your life. And that's really the fun part of it for me, is that as I've moved through my life path, both in terms of my career and where I'm at personally, or the sort of life events that I'm dealing with, I've painted sort of a different picture to go along with that, and my collection reflects that. I'm more than happy to answer any of your gray market questions. If you want to buy or sell or flip watches, leave a comment. More than happy to go back and forth and help you guys out. I've been doing this for about 10 years, using the gray market to buy and sell watches. I've never been burned yet. That doesn't mean that won't happen one day. But I think the way that I've suggested that in this video, that you go about taking precautions to make sure that the watches are legitimate and that you're protecting yourself, you won't get burned either, and you'll have a good experience like I have. I've met some amazing collectors and dealers over the years. My current, independent dealer that I go to is a phenomenal person, phenomenal guy. He takes pride in it because he's a collector as well. And, the community aspect is a really huge part of it for me as well too. So I hope you guys have fun, and, good luck to you in your watch hunting adventures. And if you've got photos of your collections you want to share or discuss, leave a comment, and maybe we'll talk about watches some more.